Some time ago I was sharing with you the difference between faith and believing. Many people don't understand that difference. You find someone who will be crying, "Oh God, I believe. Oh God, I really know that you can do it. Oh God, do it for me today. Oh God." He is expressing his believing. That is not faith, but he does not know. And he may leave that crusade discouraged, unhappy, because he says to himself, "If I have ever prayed in my life, that was the day I prayed. If I ever believed, that was the day I believed. If I ever had faith, that was faith." And then he leaves unhappy. "Oh God, I didn't receive." But he did not know that what he had was not faith. There's a difference between believing and faith. Just like sometimes I look at business people today who had was not faith. There's a difference between believing and faith.
Well, this is certainly a new one for me, but the more I think about it, the more I think I understand it. There is a difference between faith and believing. Let's break it down just a little bit. What is faith and what does it mean to believe? The word faith is derived from the Latin word fide, or an old French word fide. It means confidence or trust in a person, thing, or an idea. In the context of religion, faith is often defined as a belief in God or in the principles or doctrines of a specific religion. The definition of faith in Christianity is often as referenced in the book of Hebrews as the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. And what is belief? Belief is an attitude that something is the case or that some proposition is the truth. Belief is about the attitude you have about something or an idea. For example, is it true or is it bad? Your attitude will depend on what you believe. As you can see from these definitions, belief is a subsect of faith. If you add belief, confidence, and trust together, what you get is faith. Put another way, the central themes of faith is confidence, trust, and belief. So, as Pastor Chris said, belief is not faith. Additionally, you need confidence and trust.
Just like sometimes I look at business people today who don't understand that there is a difference between managing and administration. Many of them are in administration without realizing, and they destroy their organization thinking that they are managing. Many of so-called managers today are not managers, they're administrators. That is their problem. In managing, you deal with people, not papers. You deal with people, not policies. In administration, you don't recognize people. You recognize policies, precepts, regulations. Until you separate between the two, you can have problems. The devil is that is present there. There's no devil. It's your misunderstanding. As was running down some of our banks and institutions, they don't realize it. I love what Kenneth Hagin says. You can see that fellow with so many degrees. Kenneth Hagin says the fellow went to school to learn to be a dummy. Isn't that sad? And managing is not laughter. Managing is not sitting down to find out what the trouble and the problem of that person is. Managing is learning to learn about people and being interested in them and helping them to find interested in them and helping them to find their place in life with you. So even if there are 2 or 3, if you can help them to find their place with you, help them to become what they should be, help them to answer their questions and solve their problems. That's true managing. That is what it is. You know, many times a lot of our schools are headed by people who have only learned the stuff they have from occultists of the world, including Satanists. So they teach you all the selfish things in this world. Selfish things. Selfish things. They're all in the system of this world, which when you begin to apply, you think you are a pro. Until you discover that the system of this world was designed to fail. It can only go up for one reason, that its fall may be powerful. You know what that means? The higher it is, the more terrible the fall. Don't envy sinners. Don't use their principles to live. They cannot be successful. Believe what I'm telling you. Have you heard me? Let me take it another step further. I said, faith in God is demonstrated. It's demonstrated by your action. You see,
faith in God is demonstrated by action. By implication, this means that faith in God is not just what you believe, but also what you do with that belief. Remember the definition of faith in Hebrews as the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. There are two parts to this definition. The assurance of things hoped for represents belief, while the conviction of things not seen represents more than belief, to include action. The word conviction pertains to a declaration. Think of when someone is convicted of a crime or something. The judge has to make a pronouncement or a declaration. The words have to be said or uttered for it to become effective. In the same way, to make your faith potent, you must take action of making a declaration of your faith or conviction. This relates to the power of prayerful affirmations. The Bible is full of such affirmations to help you activate your faith. There is the famous Psalm 23 verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. This is one of the most powerful affirmations of those believing for success. The Lord is my shepherd represents belief in God, and I shall not want represent a declaration of conviction, an affirmation of the abundance in God for those in faith. Declaration is the first in a series of action to activate and materialize your faith. Beyond that, you must get up and do something. God has promised to bless the work of your hands, but there has to be a work of your hands for God to bless. You cannot be passive in your own destiny. You must take action for your faith in God to be fully demonstrated. Whatever that work is will depend on your goal. Pastor Chris's work, for example, is to preach or to teach the Word of God. And my job is to help explain and disseminate the Word of God. For that, God is blessing the work of our hands. What are you doing that you are asking God to bless? I pray that from this moment on, that you shall see increase and bountiful harvest from the work of your hands.